All right, everybody. Uh, Welcome to another live COVID update from Council President Brandon Scott. We are going to let folks populate the live, so just give us a second before we go forward with information. Give everyone a second to come on and join us. Hello to everyone joining us. Hope everybody's having a good day and that you had some good lunch. I'm going to get mine as soon as this is over. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. We got some good updates for you guys today. We're going to run through all of them and then get your questions. Good afternoon, Leah. So just hold on for 1 second. We are live. We live, as they say. We're going to wait just another minute, everybody. Then we're going to get started. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. All right. So we are going to get started now. Welcome to another briefing live on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with Council President Brandon Scott. Ms. Cromer, hello to you too. Again, we always like to thank you guys for joining us and thanking you for being people who want to share this information. Just give you guys the updates. First, I want to wish a happy Maryland Day to all of us here. This is Maryland's birthday. So on March 25th, 1634 is when the settlers settled at St. Clements Island, which is now St. Mary's County, Maryland, which happens to be where I went to college. It's actually a great place. And one of the most beautiful places in the state of Maryland. We're going to do our live a little differently today. We're going to run through all of our updates and then take questions at the end. So just send your questions in and then we will go through from them. So first updates. We know Governor Hogan held a press conference today, which was announced. We had a lot of questions over the last few days about, it is also Air Max Day. We had a lot of questions about public schools and how long they were going to be closed. It was said today that public schools will be closed for additional 2 weeks through April the 24th. So schools will remain closed in Baltimore City through at least April the 24th. So we know that's a longer period of time, and we're going to continuously have to make sure that our young people are learning virtually and learning in other ways, and we have to keep them fed through all of the resources that we will talk about. Marylanders who recently visited New York, so if you left Baltimore City and went to New York recently, you are being asked to self-quarantine for 14 days. And I know that's hard, but it's the right thing to do. And as I always do when I start these out, we know that this is the most important thing that we can do. And as I said earlier at the Board of Estimates, we have to understand. We know that we have an irresponsible president of the United States who is talking about ending the self-quarantining and ending the social distancing practices early. Ignore that. That's irresponsible. What you should do is what your leaders here in the city and in the state are doing. That's following the advice of public health professionals, because this is just the beginning of this. We are not near the end of this by any long stance. So we have to understand that the socially responsible thing, the responsible thing as a human, as a person, is for us to ignore what they're saying about ending it and continue to practice social distancing. Don't leave your home unless you have to. We are now in Baltimore City up to 53 confirmed cases of COVID. We now only follow Montgomery County, which is at 127, and Prince George's County, which is at 76 for the largest numbers in Maryland jurisdictions. We have now surpassed Baltimore County. There are 423 cases across the state of Maryland. This is a serious thing. This is not anything to play with. We want to keep people alive and healthy. We want us to be able to get back to our normal lives, but we're only going to do that if we are right now, first and foremost, adhering to the advice of public health professionals and just stay at home. Oh, also, Governor Hogan today asked the President Trump, to declare Maryland a disaster area that will make the state eligible for additional federal resources and money, and we will see how that pans out. Again, every day I like to go through and run back through the recaps. I know you guys know this information, but it's important for everyone to know. Bars, restaurants, movie theaters, and gyms are closed. You can still do drive-through. No gatherings of 10 people or more. We know all of these things that are happening. All non-essentials and business and organizations are now closed. We know how this will impact people's livelihood. We know that there's discussion, especially right now at the federal level, about how we're going to be able to benefit people and businesses who are impacted by COVID as well. I want to remind everyone that you can find right on our website, you can find the COVID asset map that the City Council President's Office, that my office has produced, and you can find that at bit.ly, bit.ly/BeMoreCovid map. You can get all of the resources and things that we talk about on these live feeds right there for everyone to see. Again, that's bit.ly, bit.ly/BeMoreCovid map, and we will continuously update that information. All right. We put all the information on there, the youth sites from Rec and Parks, University of Maryland, Healthy Harvest, Kim Trueheart, the senior lunch pickup information, all of that stuff, healthcare clinics that offer help to people who are uninsured are all on that website, in addition to special shopping options for our seniors, which we're going to run through again in 1 second. All right. So just so that folks know, seniors and individuals that have pre-existing conditions and compromised immune systems. Here we go. Giant supermarkets. Again, everyone, seniors can shop from 6 to 7 a.m. at Dollar General. If one of those are in your neighborhoods, they can shop on the first hour of the day. Target, seniors can shop an hour before stores open up on Wednesdays. Whole Foods, seniors are able to shop, and those who have compromised immune systems an hour before the stores open. Seniors may shop 6 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursday at Safeway. And these following places, and we'll put this information out again, offer delivery to the home. Giant does that through this phone number. It's 1-800-573-2763. That's 1-800-573-2763. Safeway does it through their website, safeway.com. ShopRite does it through their website, shop.shoprite.com. That's shop.shoprite.com. And ShopRite has also waived the fees for seniors 65 and above. All of this information, again, is available right on that website with the resources that we have laid out for you guys. All right. This is something else I want to touch on. We were notified, and you guys may have saw in the Baltimore Sun and Channel 11, that is a MTA bus operator who I believe have contracted COVID-19, which required a response of MTA shutting down a specific portion of its operation over in the Easton bus depot. This is why we have to take this seriously. These folks are risking their lives, and we can be responsible. Again by making sure that we're not putting these folks more at risk. And like I can't say this enough, stay at home unless absolutely you don't have to. Even if you don't have symptoms, you could be a carrier. You could be looking just like and operating just like you normally do, and still be someone who's carrying this virus and spreading it on. Don't help the spread of COVID go to more people in Baltimore. We cannot, and I'm going to go through this again because someone always asks this question. Want to remind everyone that not everyone needs to run and get tested. Again, only if you have the severe symptoms, right? This is the advice from the public health professionals. Only if you have the severe symptoms should you seek emergency help to get tested. That means tightness in your chest, shortening the breath. You can't function. If not, call your healthcare provider, your primary care physician, and let them give you advice and guide you through how you can make it through this. We cannot afford to have the system overwhelmed with people who are just rushing to get tested because they have a cough or they're sneezing. Only the people who have the serious symptoms should be seeking to be tested right now, because we know that we cannot overbear in the system. Also, I think this is a very critical point, especially for Baltimore City. We are dealing with simultaneous crises right now in Baltimore. We have a pandemic of COVID and an epidemic of gun violence in our city that we also cannot lose focus on. Just at around 12:20 this afternoon, there was a double homicide in Park Heights. We have to understand that that is unacceptable, especially when we're going through, at any time, especially when we're going through a crisis like this. And what I have said to all the mayor's agencies, especially the police department, is that the same intense focus that they have on COVID and not helping it spread is the same focus that they need to have on gun violence in Baltimore City. And we have to understand that every time that we take away resources from our public safety and other agencies to focus on something minor, especially during this crisis, means that there's going to be less focus on those items. I had this conversation consistently. I'm going to still be pressing the police department, the mayor's office of criminal justice, to focus on violent repeat offenders in Baltimore, focus on the flow of illegal guns into our city and holding those people responsible. But we have to understand where we are. As of this morning, there were 126 non-fatal shootings in Baltimore City this year, and there were 62 homicides in Baltimore this year, based on compared to 64 last year. And now we know we've had 2 people die today, and we know that the shootings were up 2 from last year. We have to understand that in Baltimore we are dealing with that ongoing crisis at the same time that we're dealing with COVID-19, and we have to be focused on both. But we cannot allow us getting tied down with minor things get the agencies and the people that we need focus on these things away from the main focus, which should be keeping people alive in Baltimore through preventing gun violence and the spread of COVID. So that means 911, everybody, is for emergencies. Do not overbear in the system with simple minor things. We only should be calling in for emergency situations. A few years ago, now almost 8 years ago, I was able to get the police department to have the ability to have you report those minor crimes online that you can do at baltimorepolice.org, so that you are not taking police officers, patrol officers away from focusing in on actual violent crime and crime that's happening in Baltimore. So if you have minor crimes, you can actually go on the website and look baltimorepolice.org, and you can file those things there, and you can also file them on the phone when you call. So again, we're going to continue, everyone, to get the word out consistently in Baltimore. We're going to need your help in doing that. We know that we have these health department memes that we've been putting out. We're going to put ours out again for everyone to see. We want you guys to take that challenge up, take those memes, make ones for yourself, and be able to get that information out to your friends, because we want everybody to participate in that, because everyone can be a hero by not just staying at home, but also by spreading the best information and telling all of your friends, look, don't have these house parties at your house right now. Have it over the phone, have it over Zoom, have it over WhatsApp, video chat, or FaceTime, or Google Hangouts, whatever you have to do. But we have to remain safe at all costs. Also want to tell you something else a little later, but now consistently we'll be sharing the information on our social media sites, as you know. But if you need direct help, you can send us a direct message, but you also can call our office at 410-396-4804. That's 410-396-4804. Or you can email us at councilpresident@baltimorecity.gov. That's councilpresident@baltimorecity.gov. I want to thank you all for staying tuned with us consistently and for your compliance with all these rules and regulations during this difficult time. I can't stress enough how important it is that everyone stays home. And now we're going to turn over to questions. Let's see what we have here. So, do I think they should shut public transportation down and provide transportation for all essential workers and first responders? I think that we have to understand this. I think you have to keep public transportation open in some sort of form right now because we know a lot of people who are working these jobs depend on that, and it will be extremely hard for them to be able to go and pick these people up from all over the place. But again, that's why it's even more important, more critically important, that the rest of us heed that advice and stay at home, so that it's only those folks that have to be out on the bus going to work because they're working at a hospital or a supermarket or they work in one of these essential areas that should be on those buses and on the trains to begin with, so that people are less likely to be sick. Is Trump reopening everything on April 12th? Listen, as I said, you should ignore what's coming out of that man's mouth. He is not listening to the advice of the public health professionals here locally and at the state level. That's what we are going to do. We are going to follow the advice of public health professionals. And as you can see that with school being closed through April 24th, we will not be operating normal on April the 12th. We have to follow the advice of the best public health professionals. Ignore Donald Trump. Yes, you can still go to places like Home Depot because we know that they have to be open because they provide the products for essential things that we need. Uh, will I demand the city use rainy day funds to house our most vulnerable neighborhoods and to help with the homeless community? So we've already said that the mayor should open up the rainy day funds, and I will tell everyone, even those who also are asking about the Fair Development Roundtable letter, to stay tuned, as we will be sending a response that I think that everyone will greatly appreciate, of how we should be focusing in on those individuals in those communities as well. How long do I think this will last? This is the truth. I don't know, and guess what? No one knows. Anyone that tells you that they know, they're lying. They don't know. This is a ever-changing, ever-growing situation, but what I do know is the more that we don't adhere to the advice and staying at home, the longer this is going to be. The higher the rates of spread is going to be. This is what we're talking about here, everybody. We're talking about a life and death situation in a city that was already in life and death situation consistently with the amount of violence that we have in Baltimore. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're doing these each and every day, telling people to stay their butts at home. Don't take your kids to the playground. No, you're putting them at risk. Think about the amount of the majority of the people that have contracted COVID in Maryland aren't older people. They're people middle age, 20 to, like, that's who's contracting in here, and it's because we are not adhering to this advice and we're not taking it seriously. So do I feel like the shelter in place will be the next course of action? So I think that this is a opportunity for us to understand wordsmithing and word playing, right? So, for example, in Ohio, where they have a shelter in place, they have a shelter in place except that they can go to walk their dog, they can go to the grocery store or the pharmacy. Well, if you think about it, here in Maryland, that's also the only thing that you can do right now, right? You can't just go to any business. We essentially have the same kind of setup going on. So we will see if the governor officially declares a shelter in place. But right now, again, we shouldn't wait for someone to tell that. If you can just look at what's happening around the world, or not even now, look at what's happening in New York City, people should be saying, oh, this is really real. We should be staying in the house. But we're not. People are not taking it seriously enough, and people will lose their life if they don't. So tell everyone you know to take this seriously. Don't wait until someone forces you in the house. Go in the house right now. Stay your butts at home. So somebody asked about a timeline. Once you apply for unemployment, you should reach out to us directly so that we can make sure that all the things are done correctly and you can figure out. But they will be contacting you. I wouldn't like to discuss. I wouldn't like to discuss someone's personal business on the internet. So again, like I said about the shutdown, people said, "Do she shut the city down because people don't think this is real?" Again, remember, we have to adhere to the advice. You essentially now, unless you're working in an essential business or or you're out going to the grocery store or something like that, you really don't have any reason to be outside anyway, right? You don't have a reason to do that. And what's going to happen is, it's been said time and time again, they're going to get more strict on enforcing these gatherings and things. So when tell your friends, like, hey, people who are opening up business that shouldn't be open, people who are like, yeah, I'm just going to have a party and put it on live and show that I got 40 people in my house and we're not supposed to be more than 10, then you can't complain when something happens to you, when you're held accountable for your action, because what you're doing is putting people's lives at risk, and this is nothing to play with. So again, someone asked me to explain how policies work. People are going around thinking elected officials can create things without proper funding. So a lot of this stuff, as I've been saying over the last couple of days, we know that they're discussing this federal package, and we know that things trickle down from different levels of government. We have to, and first, before people can get, the payments that folks are talking about, or expanded unemployment insurance, or direct assistance to states and cities, that stuff will be worked out at the federal level, and then we can apply for it. That's why they're discussing it as legislation. The same thing happens at the state level. The governors designating things, and then the municipalities and go. We have to do the same thing at the local level. These things just don't happen like that. There's always a process that has to be followed to make sure. If people are overcharging and price gouging, you should definitely let us know. If you know places that are doing that, send us a direct message, call us, email us. We will have that investigated as soon as possible. Let's see. Do I think that distance learning is going to be successful for our students, especially those with disability? Is there a plan to make sure these students are proficient to pass to the next grade? So this is a question that I'm consistently pressing on, because it's not just about, we know that our students, especially those who have disabilities, it's going to be a lot harder for them. But when you compound that with here in Baltimore, with the digital divide and them not having access to internet, etc., we have to figure out how that's going to be remedied and dealt with as well. We're going to continue to press our school system, who's doing a great job of trying to work out these issues and working with the state folks. So stay tuned for that. And if you have ideas and suggestions, please shoot them to us. Let's see. So, somebody asked if the EOC open 24/7, is there agency representative, is there a briefing between the city council and administration daily? So, it's multiple things. The EOC is 24/7, and we have the Joint Information Center. What we have done is that so that I'm not tied to being in that particular room, Councilman Burnett, my health chair, as this is a global health pandemic, is in the JIC and is relaying all the information to us. We get reports from them daily, consistently, and throughout the day, actually, from all the agencies as well. And we also then have get a physical briefing consistently as well. So thank you for that question. No, right now evictions are suspended in Maryland. Again, you cannot be evicted. If someone is trying to evict you or someone that you know, make sure that you should notify the sheriff's office, the police, and also notify us as well. And then the last question that I see here, again, was about the homeless. We know that the mayor actually made an announcement today about the homeless community and about how the Office of Homeless Services is going to be handling that, and we're going to continue to make sure that they're doing that in a proper way. All right. Also, wanted to let you guys know that we are going to be hosting tomorrow night a digital town hall with health professionals about COVID-19. We are going to make sure that we put out this information for all of you guys to get it. We're going to put it on our social media websites. We're going to tell you that we will have two lines, lines for you to listen and a line for you to listen in. We're going to put all the information out on our social media tonight, so you will have that. We want all of you to tune in. It's going to be a great thing, and it'll be a way from you guys not to hear just from me, but from an actual public health professionals. This is a personal invite from me to all of you who have been tuning into our live streams to invite you to that. If you, Stokes, if you send us a direct message, we will send you a response about where you go from unemployment and get you all of the links and things and numbers that you need. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. Always remember to please stay at home, stay safe. Oh, and then we also just want to remind everyone that you can find all the information about the free meals for youth and families on our website. I will make sure that we get you, that we get you all the things that you need. And the last thing that I'll say again is take this pandemic seriously, everybody. This is not a game. You can pass it on to someone. You don't have to show symptoms. You can be someone that gets someone else sick and even cost them their life. Look at what's happening across the country. I know there was this video that I saw earlier with Mr. Towns that plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, where his mom has been put in a medical-induced coma around COVID. This is not a game, everybody. Make sure that you're staying home at all costs and staying safe. We think about the bus driver that we talked about earlier, and all of these folks in Baltimore City, now 53, that have contracted COVID. Stay home, stay safe, and we will see you later. Peace.